go straight into our Make and Take session one. So I hope you guys have done all of your pre-work, all of your homework. And I know some of you overachievers have already created the projects all the way through. So at least join me for this fun little part one of our Make and Take session. The first project we're going to start with here is going to be the Merry Christmas card featuring the gold poinsettias. So it looks just like this one. So hopefully you all have your little booklet, super cutie patootie, and we're going to add a couple of fun little strips on here to make it all come to life just beautifully. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start off by grabbing my kit. Now, my kit's already embossed. Yours should too, because you guys pre-did the work, right? Were they asked to pre-do it? Pre-emboss? Let's see, we're going to open up your booklet. It looks just like this guy in your little instruction booklet. Hopefully you pre-did some of the work here already. And of course, we're using your Poinsettia Burst stamp set, which of course I hope you love and you got in your bundle. So adorable. We're going to first start by folding our black licorice cardstock in half to create our card base. Real quick. And we've got a couple of different layers here that we're going to definitely use. I've got a whipped cream piece of cardstock, and that's the one I'm going to start off with first, of course, because everything's already been pre-embossed and pre-die cut. So I've got all of those pieces that are done. Check. And I'm going to start by adding a little bit of pool play here with my dauber applicator to the background. Kind of take some of that off. So again, I'm just going to bring in some of that blue brush. So again, if you want to go deeper and lighter, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm kind of bringing in that darker tone towards the center and then daubing off to get that lighter tone towards the edges of that. There we go. So just a fun little brush of color there. And I'm also going to come back and I'm going to stamp my Merry Christmas using a black licorice ink, which I don't have. Grab black licorice. I'm going to grab my black licorice. And I'm going to stamp my Merry Christmas right towards the bottom here. As well as I'm going to grab the different pine needles with some lemongrass. And I'm just going to kind of come in here and do one of these little numbers. So see how I'm kind of starting in the center and I'm working my way out a little bit. So I've got that burst coming out right on my piece of cardstock there. So super cute. Now there's also a variety of different pieces of washi that you have, as well as just a small strip of our gorgeous, gorgeous deco strips. First thing I'm going to start with is the washi. Now, some of you might have the stars, some of you might have the hearts. This might be a little different for many of you, so I'm just going to come in here and start off with my hearts. I'm going to kind of tuck these all the way to the back. Then I'm going to grab my striped deco strips. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off at a little bit of an angle here. So you can get the thin ones, you've got the thick ones, you've got different options here. I'm going to place... I did it again. I'm going to place that right on top. Just kind of offset it a little bit there. And lastly, I've got a piece of black licorice cardstock, which I'm going to do the same thing to. And I'm going to adhere that directly onto my piece of cardstock here. Thank you. And I'm going to trim the edge there. Thank you. So see how I've got my background laid out? So super cute. Love all the different pieces there. And I'm going to come back with a little bit of the Journey twine with the gold liner. And I'm just going to kind of wrap this around 3 different times. Create a double knot and a bow right off the edge here. I absolutely love the simplicity of this project, but I especially love how elegant it is, despite the fact that it is so simple. I think it looks so elegant. I love the gold and I love the burst of color, whether it's your lemongrass on here. So cute. Just tightening that up just a little bit more. Trim the excess down here, and it's just time for me to come back and embellish and add all the bells and whistles to my project. So I am going to start with my poinsettias here first. When in doubt, pop it out. I'm going to pop these guys right out using some foam squares, the large foam squares for my poinsettias here. I'm going to kind of make sure that it's in between my bow. Then I'm going to bring in the smaller one. Kind of offset it slightly here. So pretty. I love it. I absolutely love it. And with the smaller foam squares, I'm going to come back and I'm simply going to add my various different petals to the background here. So pretty. I absolutely love this stamp set. I think you're going to have so much fun with it this holiday. And can you imagine some of these just on your scrapbook layouts? Some of these beautiful blooms. Just look how beautiful that comes together. Stunning, so simple to be able to recreate. Now, I believe it comes with a matching die, right? It does. So you've got it easy to cut out, stamp them, cut them out. And of course, you've also got your beautiful hollies and berries. Ha ha. You've got your hollies and your berry. Is this holly or is this berry? This is definitely holly. No, this is definitely berry. No, this is definitely holly. And we're going to just add a few of these accents to our project as a little extra level of pop. Now I do like to come back and add a little bit of my silver and gold silks. So kind of once it's all set together, I'm going to add a little bit of my silver. And I'm going to come back with a little bit of gold as well. So gold. Check. And it's ready to go. So beautiful. I think this is definitely going to be my Christmas card this year because they're so easy to recreate. I absolutely love how simple and easy it is. And you're still going to get that wow factor and you're still going to get that pop. And I love the gold and the silver infused together. And I just love the way it showcases on the black. So adorable. I did add Journey Glaze to the Merry Christmas. If you wanted to add that little extra level of pop, you can certainly do that. Let me just kind of stayed open, so going to open this up. I'm just going to go over my Merry Christmas here. And of course, set that to dry, which here in Phoenix should be about 2 minutes. So cute. So we are set. Project number one, check. I hope you guys are on project number one as well, and you guys are all set and done. So we're going to just leave this for a little bit, just so that you guys can get caught up. And of course, you have your booklet as well. You have your image on your booklet so that you can see that. But I'm going to bring this guy up one more time. Careful not to touch my journey glaze, so that you guys can finalize your project before we move on to project number two. I hope you guys caught up. Remember, you guys, after we're done with our second project, we're gonna break to lunch. So you have a little bit of an opportunity to get caught up as well in case you have not. I know some of you are sharing a Diet Cup machine and things like that. So I'll keep that in mind. But we're going to jump right into our next beautiful, gorgeous poinsettia card. This one is the one with the red poinsettias. So it's going to look just like this on your work booklet. We're going to jump right into that one here. So let's go ahead and take out our kit. Again, hopefully you've already pre-stamped and die cut. But if not, no worries. We're going to have that lunch time for you to be able to catch up. So let's go ahead and fold our card base in half. As well as we have several different layers here. We've got a piece of black licorice cardstock, our gorgeous new black and white print, which is going to look stunning on this card. I absolutely love that. I'm going to go ahead and adhere these two now. Set. And I've got several different pieces of cardstock, of course, some of which are so that I can cut out my poinsettias, and some of which are going to create this like little belly band look on my project so that I can come in here and stamp my various different pieces. So what I want to do next is I'm going to go ahead and, because of course my poinsettias are already stamped and cut out, I'm going to grab the poinsettias, the medium-sized one, so that I can stamp onto my belly band. So the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp my greeting, which is the Merry Christmas in black licorice ink, one more time. I love the black and white look with a little touch of color that we've got going on in most of these projects here. I think it's definitely very trendy. Sorry, you're going to see hair for a little bit, but I need to see what I'm stamping. So here we've got the Merry Christmas right towards the bottom of my little belly band there. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to stamp a couple of these using the Cranberry Bliss ink. So I basically want to stamp them off the edges here because I'm creating a bouquet right towards the top. So I've got these beautiful pieces already done there. And I'm going to go ahead and layer that directly onto my card base, card front, I should say. And I'm going to bring him a little bit lower than my original just so that I can plop it a little bit higher there. So here we go. Got my belly band right onto that space. And I seem to have a little bit more of an edge on this side, so I'm going to trim that off slightly. Excellent. Now I do have some white twine. This is our white thread that I'm going to wrap around. my card layout here towards the bottom here just to give me a little extra little pop. So I'm going to just kind of add it, go around it 3 times, create a double knot here off to the right. And then I'm going to create a bow, a simple bow, just for a little flair. And snip off the edges there. So cute. Now with my layered poinsettias, I'm going to start with my largest one first, already stamped and die cut. I'm going to grab my larger foam squares. When in doubt, pop it out. We're going to pop this guy right out here. And I'm going to offset it just slightly so that I'm looking for the right place so that it fits like right in between my Mary there. It's not covering my sentiment or my greeting, but you're totally going to start to see that pop come to life. Offset the medium-sized one just slightly. And of course, come back with some of my greens. So partly what I want to do with those greens is I want to hide the seam of the top poinsettia on the side. Just to give me a little bit more of a variance with my layers. And I've got one more that I'm going to place here off the side. So stinking cute, right? I absolutely love that. It looks absolutely beautiful. I'm going to grab some of the berries from Holly. Can't stand it. And I'm just going to kind of place them here in the center. So cute. I love the little accents that we've created here. Let me just make this guy slightly a little bit higher just so that I can have full access to that. And with some Journey Glaze, before I do that, I am going to add some of my silks in the gold. So let me kind of use my same little mask element. I'm going to use this as a mask just so I can protect those slightly. I'm going to come here. I think my original, I only added gold. I didn't add any of the silver, but I'm going to go rogue a little bit here. I'm going to add some of the silver as well because their fault for leaving it in front of me. Here we go. Little silver, a little gold to that. Absolutely beautiful. And again, come back with some Journey Glaze. Well, before I do that, let me add it to my card base because I typically like to do Journey Glaze at the very end so that I don't have to touch my card and I can let it dry all the way through. I know a lot of you guys like to do the Journey Glaze like in between the process. I don't know how you do that. I always have to do it at the very end because then I don't want to touch it if it's still drying. And then I'm going to come back and basically to the whipped cream areas is where I'm going to add a little bit more of that. Oh, look, I did find the masking. Oh, that's the one I just used. To the whipped cream areas is where I'm going to try to add some of that Journey Glaze. So I'm not necessarily adding it to the actual bloom itself as a whole, but you certainly can if you would like that look. I love the way Journey Glaze looks against the whipped cream. So I'm going to try to just add it to the whipped cream elements for texture. Mainly for texture. It's going to create, of course, that shiny glow. But I'm just going to come in here and basically I'm adding texture to the spine of the petals. And of course I'm going to come back and add Journey Glaze to my lettering. So fun, right? Super easy way to create your Christmas cards this year with really, really fun opportunity. You can get some family involved, just help you die cut or help you stamp. I love it. So adorable. So stinking cute. You can add a little bit of extra sparkle to this if you'd like. And it just totally comes to life beautifully. And again, all out of the same stamp set that you all now already have because it was part of your bundle. So I hope you're excited about our first project number 1 and project number 2. We're now going to go into a quick lunch, say about 3 hours or so of lunch, and then we'll be, just kidding. We're going to go into lunch, which will give you an opportunity to catch up on any of these 2 projects that we've already created if you've not already done so, as well as if you need to be able to get advanced for the next session, die cut, or whatever you need to do for our second session. Make sure that you have a little bit of time to catch up. Definitely have some tacos, burritos, burgers, hamburgers, pasta, lasagna, whatever you're having for lunch or dinner, enjoy. We're about to break into lunch ourselves for about 45 minutes, and we'll catch you right back here for a lot more RG Presents and some exclusive fun surprises that you're not going to want to miss. See you here shortly, guys. Hey guys, and welcome back to RG Presents Journey Holiday Mini. Super excited. I hope you guys are all caught up with all of your amazing projects, Projects 1 and Project 2. And we're about to dive into the pool of holiday projects 3 and 4. So super exciting. It's been an interesting lunch to say the least. Dan has actually showed everybody at the office his tattoos, and it's been phenomenal to ask all the various different questions about why that tattoo and why there. So maybe you can ask him a little bit later on, and I'm sure he'll give you guys a little sneak peek behind the scenes type of stuff. Or maybe catch our Instagram feed for some more fun.
Yeah, first of all, I love the phrase sneak peek. I don't think so.
But anyway, again, I hope you're all caught up with your first 2 projects, and we're going to go in to our third project. That's going to be the Mary project. So stinking cute with the new exclusive die for you die set. Super cute. Looks just like this. As well as for project number 4, we're going to be using our ornament swirl die set. Beautiful, beautiful dies that you're absolutely going to love to be able to play with. Now let's go ahead and grab our kit real quick for project number 3. So why that tattoo, Dan, and why really there? I'm not judging or anything. I'm just trying to figure out kind of the thought process behind.
So, Richard, a question did come up before we ended the last session, and we always see you making these beautiful cards and all of that. And the question came up: what do you put on the inside?
Like as in, what do you like the message? I don't, because I never actually send them out. I just create them for myself. Good answer, bad answer.
No, I think it's a good answer. And how do you like that for changing the subject?
No, I actually do love to add a variety of different sentiments on there. Like, check out this picture of Dan's new tattoo. And so then it's on the inside of my card. Or for more incognito pictures of Dan's tattoos, visit the Instagram page at, you know what, Dan? I think we're going to open up an Instagram page called Dan the Man and the Many Hats of Dan. And we'll just post them. Yeah. I think there's a lot of our people out there who would love to see that.
Yeah, that might actually be applicable to many hats. But
yeah. So why that tattoo? I'm still trying to understand the thought process. I don't have to, of course, but, I love you regardless of your weird ways. All right. I'm going to start here with a little bit of lemon drop. And I'm going to start by creating, I kind of have an idea of where I want this to sit, more or less. So I'm just going to kind of give me a little bit of an indicator. All right, that's where I want that. And then I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to want a little bit of the lemon drop there. And, I'm sorry, the limeade splash. And lastly, I'm going to grab some candy apple. And I'm going to want that right about there. So basically it just gives me an idea of where I want to add my color. And I'm just going to kind of create a little more of that pop. So fun, right? Just love the smooth texture of that. And I'm going to grab some candy apple. Just kind of add that pop. So fun. I just love the various different pops of color. And then this guy's going to come right over that to be able to create that display of gorgeousness. So super cute. I love the deliciousness behind that, as well as the mirror paper on this looks absolutely stunning. Before I add, of course, my die cut gifts, which are die cut out of our mirror paper, I'm going to come in here and add a variety of different splatters. So I'm going to grab some gold. Just kind of very festive, very fun. Then I'm going to grab some silver. So fun. Now, on a separate scrap of cardstock, I'm going to stamp both the holly and the berry. And I'm also going to add a little bit, and I'm also going to stamp the bow. So I'm just going to stamp and get a little bit of a darker. You know what? I'm going to do that in Fresh Forest instead. Fresh Forest, check. I'm also going to grab the bow in Candy Apple. Now, sorry guys, there's no die for these miniature little stamps. So that's what our detailed shears are for. And I'm just going to trim these guys out. Now, I know many of you are overachievers and you've already completed your project. So just bear with me as I finalize these last two projects so that I can show you some fun new things. Another special guest demo, which you're going to love. And I'm going to just cut these out some more. Sweet. I'm also going to cut out my little bow here. I think I was supposed to have enough cardstock left over for my Mary. I do. I'll just go back and grab one of those scraps. And I'm just going to pop these out as little accents. So that's why I'm going through the work of cutting them out, because I think that it's going to give a really nice dimension and texture to my project. So I've got both of these pieces cut out. Check. And lastly, I've got a scrap here of cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the Mary. From the Merry Christmas. So I'm just going to cut the Mary out. Now, if you wanted to, of course, you can stamp directly to your cardstock if you wanted to keep the entire Merry Christmas sentiment. But I'm just going to show you a variation here in case you decide to go rogue. So what did you guys have for lunch or dinner, I guess, in some of your guys' case? Did you eat, Dan?
I did. I did. It was wonderful.
All right. So here we've got our Mary, our gifts. When in doubt, pop it out. I am going to pop these guys out using some foam squares. Now, there are a lot of thin little lines on here. What I like to do is I like to come in here and kind of split my foam squares for some of these very, very thin layers, just to make sure that it's adhering properly, but I don't necessarily want it to show.
Richard, our audience had all kinds of things to eat. I'm seeing pizza, Chinese, hummus, lasagna, corn, all kinds, tacos, pizza.
Tacos?
All
Pizza
kinds of things.
tacos? All right, so I'm going to place this right onto, look how pretty that looks, right? I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a great way to use the die. And you just have the outline piece to that, which is absolutely beautiful. We do have a strip of our washi sparkle tape in silver. And I'm just going to bring it in here towards the bottom. Trim that a bit, as well as I have a piece of the printed stock. Which I'm going to trim here as well. He's obviously going to be going up instead of down. So I'm just going to adhere that down here. And then black journey thread is going to wrap around this entire piece. And we're going to tie these two together. So super fun. I love the look. I love the simplicity, but still, because you're using the mirror paper and the die is so detailed, you're able to get a really fun wow factor. And I think it's beautiful. I can't wait to share with you guys some of the holiday projects that I still am yet to share with you for the rest of RG Presents, as well as some fun little elements that you're absolutely going to love. So make sure you stay tuned. And if you're lucky, you might get to see Dan's tattoo. I'm going to do one more of the splits of my journey squares, foam squares, just so that I can add one more little accent here. Look how cute that looks. All right, using Cranberry Bliss, I'm going to shake this up a little bit. And I'm going to grab just the tip of that to be able to color the berries on this holly. Just like that. So cute. So stinking cute. I absolutely love it. Now I'm going to just add it to my card base. When in doubt, pop it out. We're going to pop this guy right out using some large foam squares. Make sure that you give plenty of time for the berries to dry on your cardstock, especially because you oversaturate it slightly, just to get that perfect little drop. And finishing touches are going to be some of these gorgeous fashion gold dots. Ta-da! So cute. Now, finishing touch, if you'd like, you can add some Journey Glaze to the Mary, which of course I did on my original sample. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit here for just a second while you guys get caught up in all the fine little details, and we'll be right back with our project number 4.
And you know, Richard, I was kind of, for all of you who can't see what's going on behind the scenes, I've been staring at Richard these last couple minutes because I know many of you were saying, what, no Journey Glaze? And we were waiting, because remember, he says he waits till the end, and then sure enough, Richard, there it was. So
There it
thank you.
was.
Our coaches would love an Econo-sized Journey Glaze, I think, at this point.
Yeah, you know, Journey Glaze is one of those things that I like to really stock up on, mainly because I do a lot of techniques. Another thing that I did add to this was a little bit of Journey Glaze to the back of the color. So if you want to enhance that color a little bit more, I did add Journey Glaze to the back. But let me show you the difference between the two. So you've got a couple of variations and a couple of different options. So my original one had Journey Glaze in the back. But I know some of you were like, you know, they didn't have Journey Glaze or didn't have access to it. So that's why I wanted to show you the variation. It's perfectly okay to use with or without the Journey Glaze. I did add Journey Glaze to the back, and I did add some sparkles, some of the Journey Sparkle to it. But they both look perfectly fine. So it's up to you in regards to what you want to see come to life, whether or not you had the Journey Glaze with you or not. I just wanted to show you that, in fact, they both look absolutely beautiful and stunning, regardless of what you may or may not have to be able to add to that accent. So it's up to you, either way, but they're both available and ready for you to create. Welcome back, guys. I hope you've had an amazing time finalizing your project number 3. And we're about to jump right into our last and final project as our make and take session for RG Presents. And then we've got some amazing fun little surprises, sneak peeks, maybe a little challenge that I hear about, and potentially the revealing of Dan's tattoo. But for now, let's go ahead to jump on to our project number 4. Project number 4 is our last and final project featuring the beautiful ornament swirl die set, as well as, of course, the gorgeous prints from our Journey Holiday Mini. Of course, everything you've got pre-kitted, and we've used a little bit of the mirror gold paper. I absolutely love it. It's going to add a nice little touch to our project here, as well as we've got a couple of different layers of black licorice and the beautiful prints with the pine needles printed stock. Now, of course, you've got the text side as well if you wanted to use that. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold our card base in half. Now, I just realized that I designed all of these cards vertically. So I was a little vertically inclined. Vertically inclined when I was creating these projects. Ta-da! I'm not sure why that is the case, but that is exactly what happened. So I'm sure that our kidders were not very happy as they were trying to fit the long card into. How do they get it? Do they actually get it folded?
No, they get a longer back.
They get a longer back. Sorry. Oh, my fault. Any mahoo. So let me go ahead and add these directly onto And what I want to do is I want to create a little bit more of a softer look because I'm going to definitely add my ornament here, but I want to create a somewhat of a glow. I'm going to grab my Pan Pastels here in black licorice, and again using my dauber, I'm just going to kind of create a little bit of a that, whatever that is. I'm going to call it a glow because of course I'm going to bring in my ornament, and you see how it totally just helps it pop a little bit more. You don't have the busyness between the mirror paper and the printed stock anymore. It really just emphasizes your focal point and kind of mutes your background slightly, which is ultimately what I wanted to do there. So I've got a couple of different layers here. This one's going to be brought on board right onto here, and of course I've got my background layer as well. And on a separate piece of cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the beautiful holly. Now these two are from the different stamp sets that you've received, Holiday Wishes as well as the Poinsettia Burst. Super cute little stamp holly and berry piece that we're going to match up here. So using some Fresh Forest. Let me make sure I use Fresh Forest. I don't think I did. Did I use Limeade? It's here. Limeade is here. It's here. But you know what? I'm gonna use Fresh Forest. Well, let me make sure. I don't want anybody yelling at me. You didn't use the right stamp set. Fresh Forest. Just kidding. It says Fresh Forest. I'm going to use it because you're making me. So I'm going to grab the Fresh Forest. And it does have a matching die. So, of course, I've got one that's already done. And I'm going to just kind of place it here. I've also got a strip here for my sentiment, which is where I'm going to stamp Wishing You a and black licorice. We're just going to stamp this real quick here. So cute. And I'm going to start to kind of layer these a little wonky wonk. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go direct to my card base, just to create that level of texture and dimension to my card, which this kind of automatically does. Then when in doubt, pop it out. I'm going to pop this guy right out onto the card front. Now I do need like an eraser or something. Did we actually get one? I don't know. And I'm going to kind of cattywampy this a little bit, just, you know, in true potato fashion. I'm just going to make it a little cattywampus a little bit. Then I'm going to grab these two pieces and I'm going to attach this using some liquid glue. If you wanted you can obviously add this with glue dots. I'm just going to use liquid glue just to show a variation, but you can just use the glue dots. It won't go anywhere. And as long as you don't add too much, you should be okay. So it doesn't bleed too much into your paper. Thank you. So I'm just going to let that sit for a little bit. If for whatever reason you do get glue outside, simply just come in there and kind of push that out. And you'll be good to go. So here we go. Got a little bit of that mirror paper shining through. So adorable. Now I'm going to grab a little bit more of that liquid glue so then I can attach the gold mirror paper right on top here. Just kind of let those sit to dry so that you've got, so it's fully dry and you don't have it bleeding all over the place. All right, so now while that's kind of setting and drying on the side, I'm gonna obviously trim some of this out because I don't need that big of a piece. So once I know where I want it, I'm just gonna come in here and trim that off. Now it won't adhere to your pan pastels, so I do like to grab an eraser to just kind of clean off the center and kind of remove some of that pan pastel, just so that I can attach my foam square. And that just kind of takes care of that, because you're not really able to adhere it otherwise. So this just kind of allows you to do that. All right, I'm going to add a couple of different strips. I've got a strip of my gold paper. And I'm just going to kind of cut off the edge there. I'm going to go a little bit higher here. So I'm going to attach that. I'm going to go opposite here. And I'm going to attach this using some glue dots because it's going to go directly onto my mirror paper. Just a little bit more towards the bottom. So fun. And then I'm going to bring in some of this white liner to create a triple bow. So the triple bow is just going to be there to create some fluff. And I'm also going to attach that with a glue dot. So I'm going to place my glue dot first. Then I'm going to do my triple bow as that extra little level of fluff to this project. Super cute. Trim off the edges and kind of lay that right down there, and then come back with my super cutie patootie little holly for that extra level of pop and embellishment to my project. Now you've got 3 of your berries. Simply place them right over your stamped image. So stinking cute, right? I absolutely love the way that turns out. You can come back and add a little bit of silk if you want to this, but I think it's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Now to my original, I did add Journey Glaze to actual holly leaves. It just creates an extra little different level of pop that I think you're absolutely going to enjoy. Now you can always come back and add Journey Sparkle to this or any other type of accent or medium that I think you're absolutely going to love. But here is your second project and last project for today's Make and Take session. I hope you enjoyed that. You've got all these gorgeous projects that you've created here with us today. And it's super fun. Do we have the other 2 just real quick, or are they gone? I just want to kind of highlight everything that we've worked on here together that I think you guys are going to absolutely love. Everything that's in the Journey Holiday mini catalog. I know I do. And we've totally just created all of these projects together here today. So stay tuned because we've got a variety of fun demos, fun surprises, and amazing reveals. And yes, I might be talking about Dan, but amazing reveals coming up your way shortly.